The relationship with my mom, when I was younger, I'm going to try to make the story short, but when I was younger, it was this clean up or you're not going nowhere. Like, it was just always clean up, make sure you're taking care of this, make sure you clean up every Saturday, da-da-da-da-da. Like, she never sat with me and was like, let's go get our nails done, let's go do this. When I had my first, I mean, I know you have females that watch this probably, but when I had my first period, I was at my best friend's house. Like, she never really went in detail about nothing that a woman should know growing up. Fast forward to 2020, that's when I kind of really needed my mom, because my mom has always, hands down, she's always been my prayer warrior though. Even though I was like stubborn and I was upset because all of the attention was always on my brother, it was never on me. She always prayed for me. So every time I needed that spiritual guidance, I went to my mom. And when I got closer to God, that's what brought me and my mom together, because I forgave her as a woman versus a mother. And that was when I just realized, like, my mom, just watching her smile through the pain she's been through and becoming a woman myself, watching a woman go through that, I'm like, how the hell did you do that? Like,
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy back again with another episode of Big Boss Talk, the podcast. Listen, I got another, I always say this, I got another top tier guest. All right, so I don't know if y'all remember or caught up, but we had the twins on from New Orleans. They gave us some super gems just about their career path and their journey, but they also recommended a fire guest. Like, when I got the recommendation, they sent me over the credentials. I went to go look, peep the Instagram, just try to dig into the research and get a good grasp of who I'm gonna sit down with. And I saw that this young lady is on fire. You know, when I talk about on fire, she does so many different things. She's in so many different lanes, but we're gonna get into a little bit of everything. And then hopefully, as we're talking, she's gonna give y'all a lot more gems, because she, it's crazy, because I know about the book, right? In the book, it's a lot of good stuff in there. So what we're gonna do is, let me introduce who I got. So listen, I got Osayuware Igbinadolor, also known as Osay Eniya. I'm gonna let y'all. So this is the break in when I want you to talk about. So I want you to tell people. Obviously, I said your name, but I want you to tell the meaning behind your name and what that represents for you.
Yeah, so my name is Osayuware Igbinadolor. That's where the Eniya comes from. Like, I kind of put a little American twist on it or whatever.
Okay.
But the meaning of my name, my full name, means God brings wealth and I'm content with who I am.
Wow.
So that's why I used to hate my name until I found the meaning. And then I learned the power of the tongue. Yeah. So being able to say my name and tell people who I am through my name is dope to me. So I just say my full name now.
Man, that's crazy. I love it. And it's crazy to me that you didn't like your name at first, because I always find, like, that's unique, you know what I mean? But obviously, knowing the meaning, you get a little bit more sense of pride behind it. But let me tell y'all, she's 25. Her career/job, she's a real estate investing mindset coaching and into business development. Okay, college degree. She has a degree in business management. How many years in her profession? She has 2 years. So obviously, fairly new as far as like if you look at the type of in numbers, right? But in 2 years, you can learn so much, and you can catch on and really be able to have a lot of gain within those 2 years and be able to teach others. So I'm super excited to have her on. Say what's up to the podcast.
Hey, podcast.
Ooh, yep. All right, cool. And so now, it wouldn't be Big Boss Talk if we didn't do our traditional icebreaker: 2 truths and a lie. We gotta get it. So what's the 3 statements, and then I'm gonna guess the lie.
I'm flying out to France tomorrow. I never had a relationship with my mother until 2 years ago. And I am fluent in French.
Ooh, The first and last one makes sense. We're going to France. Bonjour, bonjour. Fluent and French, and then you didn't have a relationship with your mother until 2 years ago, which is crazy to me because I also, I saw on Instagram, of course, where you told him it was some type. You had like a revelation. You was talking about adding so much onto the plate and then like just floating right. But then you was like, I had to call my mom. Like you was like, God was like, come to me. And you called your mom and she was like, started praising, shouting. So I don't know if that's like newly developed, like that relationship. But I guess that's for me to figure out. Flying out to France tomorrow. You travel a lot, so I'm not gonna I ain't gonna stunt and be like, all right, so this is my thing. Like guests always try to get me. So maybe you're not flying out to France tomorrow, but you flying out to France for sure. So I'm gonna say the first one is the lie. I don't think we flying out to France tomorrow. You might be going to France for sure. The relationship with your mom 2 years ago, I think that's super. That's something you don't play about. Like I just think that's the truth, right? Number two, I do believe you could be fluent in French as well. So I'm gonna say the first one is a lie.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes. There we go. Okay. So now talk to me about the relationship part. Like right, 2 years ago. Like I mean, that's age 23 where like the relationship's starting to get very well. Like obviously, graduate, maybe graduated college, or on your way to, graduate, and then like how does that, how if you don't mind explaining like how that relationship happened.
Thank you for asking, actually, because I'm still learning how to tell my story. I really don't talk about nothing but business and mindset when it comes to me.
Yeah.
But I will say the relationship with my mom when I was younger, I'm gonna try to make the story short, but when I was younger, it was this clean up or you're not going nowhere. Like it was just always clean up, make sure you're taking care of this, make sure you clean up every Saturday. Like she never sat with me and was like, let's go get our nails done, let's go do this. When I had my first, I mean, I know you have females that watch this probably, but when I had my first period, I was at my best friend's house. Like she never really went in detail about nothing that a woman should know growing up. So my mom has always been in my life, but we did not have that mother-daughter relationship. And I would always cling to my friends' parents, which is why I take my friendship so serious, because my friends have always taken so much care of me.
Yeah.
Like so much. Like I would literally run away from home and my friends parents would be like, oh, say, please come back. Don't leave.
Oh my God.
You can stay however long you want to, because I'm so respectful and all of that. So fast forward to 2020, that's when I kind of really needed my mom, because my mom has always, hands down, she's always been my prayer warrior though.
Yeah.
Like even though I was like stubborn and I was upset because all of the attention was always on my brother, it was never on me. She always prayed for me. So every time I needed that spiritual guidance, I went to my mom. And when I got closer to God, that's what brought me and my mom together, because I forgave her as a woman versus a mother. And that was when I just realized, like, my mom, just watching her smile through the pain she's been through and becoming a woman myself, watching a woman go through that, I'm like, how the hell did you do that? Like, how did you make it through life with all of this and you're still smiling, still praying, still moving? Like, how? So I forgave my mom, and now we're like close as ever. That's like my best friend. I love her.
Two peas in a pie. That's what's up. I mean, I think it's quite often, because you hit on something that's, unique to me, because like with my dad, like it was one of those things where I had to realize, like, you got to separate, like, obviously he's my dad, but then also separate the dad from the actual man. And so like when I look at him, it's like, all right, cool, super young, had my brother at age 20. I probably came around, he was like 23. So I'm like, bro, you still a kid. Like you ain't really grown. You think you grown, like, you know what I'm saying? And all I can look at is like, but you my dad though. You know what I'm saying? Like the responsibilities that you hold, or how I look at you, is like, you supposed to upkeep that. But at the same time, he probably, could be dealing with his own things or in his own mindset, right? His mindset wasn't the same. So like, as I get older, I try to learn I look back and just be like, okay, cool. I know that pain is kind of what molded me to be who I am, but at the same time, he deserves that grace or that, forgiveness, from me, like, right, like, I can't change the past. Nothing has happened. I became a great young man, but at the same time, I can look back and be like, okay, I was 22 once, 23. If I had a kid, like, how would that look? You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
how would that
And you
look for
also
me?
have to realize, like, and I tell this to people that I help a lot, like, and we're the first generation that is like waking up from trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our parents dealt with what they consider normal.
Yep.
So with them considering what their lifestyle is normal, of course they're going to do the same thing and try to teach their children what helped them get to where they're at, whether it was good or bad.
Yeah.
So we're breaking those generational cycles. I don't believe in patterns. I believe in cycles, because you can like detach cycles completely and force yourself not to repeat them by healing from your trauma. Same thing goes for my father. I had to heal from everything, because I tell this to people all the time, no shade to my dad. He's forever going to be my father. But if he wasn't my father, I would not associate myself with a man like that. Personally. Because you got to be self-aware. You got to learn from your mistakes. And then when you don't learn from your mistakes and nobody could tell you nothing, it's like, where's the growth? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
hey,
yeah.
It's dope, man. I don't know what it is. It's just something about over the past, years or so. I just been kind of just thinking like, and it's also the same thing for my mom. Like, I hold my mom is just like, for so long I was like, anybody that come near my mom, I'm like, no, back up, But then it's also like my wife, she's like, your mom is a woman at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, you have to respect her as a woman. So it's like, it's one of those things that I'm growing. I'm not saying I got it down pat, but it is when you brought that up as far as like you and your mom's relationship and just you having to separate the woman from the mother, like the title, and being able to heal through that. I thought that was just a revelation that, I've come to see as well. So that's dope. But I do want to ask, because I know obviously you do real estate, you do business coaching, you do so much. So I have like 4 questions that I want you to see if you can answer in less 5 to 10 seconds, right? And it's all pertaining to your career and just kind of like what you're doing now. So my first question is just, what's the biggest reason you see why people don't get into real estate?
That's a great question.
Because, and the reason I ask is because everybody wants to do it. Like, I haven't met a person that hasn't said like, oh, I want to get into real estate one day. I'm planning on getting into real estate one day. Even myself, like, I'm like, I want to get into real estate. But at the same time, I have zero knowledge of like how to even,
That's the answer right now.
That's the answer.
It's the lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
It's the lack of knowledge, because honestly, I've been interested in real estate since I was a sophomore in college. Mm-hmm. And when I was in college, I've been in business for 12 years. Like, I've been doing business since I was 12 years old.
That's cool.
So business to me was not like new. So I wasn't afraid to fail, because failing to me is completely irrelevant to life. Like, failing is not even a real thing if you really think about it, because everything that you so-called failed has taught you a lesson that helps you grow in a different space.
Yeah. So
when it comes to real estate, though, what scares people from what I see, because people tell me all the time, like, oh, I'm so scared to do that. And I just be like, why? Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, the worst that can happen right now to me is, I don't know, because I don't really think about it too much. Like, right. I don't really think about what's the worst that can happen, because when I get there, I'll know what to do, because I have to figure it out regardless of anything. So to answer your question, the biggest thing that stops people from trying to do it is lack of knowledge. They don't want to pay to learn anything, so they just try to do it. And then if they mess up, they blame it on the industry versus the mistakes that they made that they didn't want to pay to avoid.
Got it. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, cool. I mean, obviously that makes sense. And then number 2 is, where did your knowledge come from as far as like the game of, AirBNB, real estate? Where did your knowledge come from?
I paid for the information.
For sure.
I paid for the information. However, though, I gotta keep it solid. Mm-hmm. the person that I bought a course from, and this is why I do my course in a certain way, because I bought a course from somebody and all the information that I needed was not in that course. So a lot of my knowledge came from experience. Like I had to just jump into it, figure it out. Okay, if I was staying at an Airbnb, what would I need? Like they didn't tell me what I would need to buy for every single thing. Right. And I understand why, because it is a lot of different things that you probably don't think about, like cotton swabs and like little like different things like toothpaste. Like there's different things. Exactly. So there's different things that I do that a lot of people didn't do, but that knowledge came from literally just paying for the information, praying about it, and making sure that it was in alignment with what I see from myself and the vision that God has given me. And that's something that I really want to get out there. Like, yes, you can do Airbnb, you can do real estate, you can do all of that, but make sure you know that it's in alignment with what you're doing. Don't just do it because everybody's doing it. A lot of people think, oh, everybody's doing Airbnb. I'm doing Airbnb because I know what I want to do in real estate. I want to develop multifamily. I want to build multifamily homes. I want to have a 15-bedroom mansion to turn into a rehab. Like real estate to me is just a gateway to what I'm trying to, you feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's deeper to me. So that's why it's like, I can teach real estate easy, but I'm still operating in this space where I act like I don't know much because I know that I have so much more to do. And if I sit in a space where I'm just like, okay, let me teach you the game, I'm not going to be able to teach you enough because I'm still operating in a space that God needs me to get to.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy because you hit on something like alignment, right? So I'm like, so I guess when you're going through stuff, or when you really sit down and really think about, what your purpose is or what your plan is in life, I think that's where the alignment comes from. But it's also, to me, like, it's hard for me to say that sometimes and really believe it, especially when I know, like, my goal is I want to be successful where I can make money without, obviously it's going to be some type of work, but they always say real estate is the best way to, make, residual income, or, build a portfolio, because that money, it's going to hold value. You can sell equity, things of that nature, right? So when the mass majority of the world is hearing that type of stuff, like, of course, like, oh yeah, I want to get into real estate because that's, for them, it's going to set their pockets free. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think more or less with their pocket versus like their mind, because at that moment in time, they're worrying about like, okay, I still, I may be working a 9 to 5, but this is barely cutting it. I want to kind of live a little bit above what I'm doing. So it's just, how do you coach people, or how do you help people find their alignment? You know what I mean? Like, because obviously I'll tell you, if I was to say like, because I was talking about, like, let's do real estate. I honestly don't think real estate is probably in my alignment, but I also know that I wanted to at least try real estate to see, like, is it something that I'm gonna like? You know what I mean? Like, how do you figure out that discernment of being like, like, how do you really tell people like?
So this is a deep question.
I'm sorry. We can take the time limit off.
Okay, so when it comes to alignment, and this is why I pride myself on being a mindset shifting queen first. Okay. Because based on the energy that you put into visualizing your future self is where you'll be able to kind of put the pieces together. Because the moment that God shows you something, you won't be able to unsee it. The moment you write down what it is you're trying, like, okay, Holy Spirit, speak through me. Yeah. Okay. So there's this thing called descriptive visualization. I'm about to like give you some key practical stuff, because I can go real airy. For sure. So it's called descriptive visualization. And what that is being able to write down your future life as if it's already happening. So for example, what I did that really shifted my entire mindset completely is I wrote down this thing in my Google Docs. I have a picture of like my dream stairs in my house, my dream house with some dream stairs. So I wrote down, I woke up in the morning and to my left, I see a handsome man that kisses me on my forehead and says, "Good morning, queen." And then I look to my right and I see a large body of water outside of my balcony that is in my bedroom. And I have a remote control that can open the curtains to the outside of my balcony. And there's a large body of water and an infinity pool behind the large body of water. And behind the infinity pool is a swing where me and my husband prepare our morning to go down and do our meditation together. And to my left, before we even leave the bedroom, there's a large bathroom with marble floors. And to my left again, there's a 3-story closet with a island in the center. My husband's stuff is at the top floors and mine is at the second and the bottom floor.
Yeah.
And there's a walk-in shower. Like, I can go for
That's
hours.
Crazy.
Did you see what I just said?
Yeah, you described your crib, like your future house.
You know? You saw it? Like, you saw what I was saying?
Yeah, like I can see, like, you waking up, you know, to the balcony, you know, you got the body of water. Like, you sound like you're staying at the resort. Listen, I just came back from Mexico. That water did look good.
So that's what I'm saying. If you're able to see it and you write it down, from there, the dream life that you have is number one. What is your dream life? You work backwards from that. Okay, if this is my dream life, what do I love to do? I love to help people get unstuck. I hate the word potential. I don't believe in potential. What is that?
Yeah.
Potential means you ain't doing nothing. Yeah. You're sitting on actual. That's why my book is literally a definitive guide on shifting from potential to actual. Mm-hmm. Because you cannot just sit there, right? So the moment you see your dream life, you move into, okay, what do I love to do? Okay, how can I monetize that? Okay, I can do this for now and then eventually get to this space. Like, if you work backwards, your purpose will show up.
That's crazy.
Because ultimately, everybody has the same purpose. Now, let me give you perspective.
The same
Everyone
purpose?
has the same purpose. The purpose of a human being is to create the lifestyle that they see for themselves through the eyes of God. Everybody's purpose is the same. However, the way that people work it out is different.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, most definitely.
Like, everybody's purpose is to serve the kingdom. Right. Okay, so how you gonna serve the kingdom? How you gonna serve the kingdom? That's literally...
Got it. So it's different. Yeah.
It's different, but it's the same. At the end of the day, everybody wants to help somebody else. Gotcha. Everybody wants to make money. Everybody wants to give back. No matter if they say it or not, everybody's purpose is the same. So if you sit in, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. What do you love to, what makes you happy? What do you like? What makes you like, if you could do it for free all the time, what would it be?
Right.
Monetize that. That's your purpose.
That's dope. I mean, I will say what you just did, it was very like, you know, I've never really said that. Like, obviously I made vision boards and I can see it, but actually talking it out definitively, just saying like to my left, to my right, you know, just walking through those steps. I probably never done that. But then I also like, you know, I believe, you know, everything that you're saying, I truly believe, as far as like, you know, what do you love to do, and figure out how to, you know, monetize that, or, you know, serve, you know, within that space. But then I also have to also take a step back and say, like, you know, I know where I come from. I know how I was brought up. And at the same time, there's real life situations going on where, you know, obviously, I love doing this podcast. Like, I love giving information back. But at this point in time, the podcast is not paying me. I do this because I love it and because I'll do it for free. You know what I mean? But let's just say if I was all dependent, I can't just be all dependent on the podcast. So like, I guess I want to ask, do you let people know like, hey, it is okay to, you know, work to, you know, provide for yourself, and then also maybe on the side, you know what I mean? Because I just don't want, because sometimes people take stuff literally, where it's like, do what you love, monetize it. But at the same time, it's like with something like this, like with this podcast, it's something that has to build. You know, it doesn't just happen overnight.
Exactly.
So it has to build. But at that same time, some people may think like, oh, I'm doing this podcast, this is it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I love the fact that you brought that up because that's real. Like, yes, you gotta hustle your way into what you love. A lot of people are like, just stop everything and just go broke and that's not what I'm telling you to do. Like, so that's where a lot of people get it misconstrued though as well, is because they get lost in that thing that they're doing versus remembering what it is they're doing it for. Which is why it's important for you to have that vision, because that's what I'm saying. Whatever the process, whatever it takes for you to get to that space, make sure you remember why you're doing the things you're doing. So let's say, for example, I worked at Dell Technologies for 2 years before I left.
Right.
I left in November. The only reason I left was because I had faith and I was sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right.
Like, I was just over it and I had a plan.
Right.
I knew that it takes 2 years to have a W-2 at a space or at a job for you to qualify to own property. I was not going to leave Dell without owning anything, to just quit your job and then not have anything from the job. Like, what was the point?
Right.
You know? So I stayed there hustling, $17 an hour, hustling. I was the only Black girl on my team. I had the highest numbers on both of the teams I was on, and I never talked. And if I did talk, it was just to make somebody feel better about their life. Like, if nobody really got to know me, they knew I loved business and all of that. But the thing is, I stayed in that space, even though I hated it. Right? Which is why I want you to remember, if this podcast is something that you really want to grow, do whatever it takes for your business to grow. If you got to work at wherever you got to work at, but just remember that I'm here because I have something to do.
Right.
People see money and then they're like, oh, I'm good. No, real estate is not my purpose.
Gotcha.
Like, it's a tool. It's a vehicle for me. I want to be a celebrity mindset coach. I want to guide people into healing. I want to make sure that people that are on drugs or getting beat up or homeless people have somewhere to go. If real estate is part of the purpose, that would be it.
Right.
Helping people have affordable housing. You feel what I'm saying?
For sure.
So at the end of the day, if God forbid something crazy was to happen right now, I will go get another job until I get the money I need to get where I'm trying to go. Right. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do, but you have to remember the plan.
Trust me.
Don't get lost.
I'm all in on the plan. It's really, it was more or less because I try to sometimes talk to people around me, and you know, I just want to get them to where they are happy in life and where they don't feel like they're in a sunken spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, like, you know, working my job, like, it's one of those things where I don't mind, you know, working, because I know that's the main thing, right? Keep the main thing and help funnel your other babies, because we have so many other different things going. But I wanted to be kind of like the devil's advocate, because when I try to tell, if I was to tell somebody that, and they'll be like, but, you know, it doesn't work like that. You know, you can't, it doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? You kind of get pushback. And so I always want to be devil's advocate, because I want people to understand that there's other people that they had to work a 9 to 5, but they understood that this 9 to 5 was nothing but to help funnel their real main foundation, you know, to start the foundation of what they're, you know, walking into their purpose is like, right? I think people don't think that you could do two. You know, you could do both. You can have the 9 to 5 and do your, you know, do the side hustle as well too.
Yeah, the 9 to 5 is going to teach you how to be a great boss. Like, you have to be an amazing employee in order for you to be a great boss. Because if you don't look at, and this is what I used to always say, because when people would meet me at Dell, they're like, why are you here? Like, you do this, you do, like, me even getting hired at Dell, they hired me because of the numbers they saw in my business when I graduated from college.
That's dope.
So it was like, what? So at the end of the day, I always told myself my response to people would be, I have to be a great employee to even think about being an amazing CEO, because I got to hire people that I want to work for me. Exactly. And I want to see the mannerisms of my boss and the things that I wouldn't do. And I learned so much. I've had amazing jobs. I've worked for the city of Austin. I've worked for Capital Factory. I've had so many jobs, bro. And I learned from all of them. Man. All of them. Every single job I had, I learned. So please don't go broke trying to
live
No,
this aspire
figure
and dream. I don't know, like keep your dreams, but just be smart about it. That's all. Don't be willy nilly and don't take everything literal. But you said something like I felt like every job I've had, I've learned something as well too. Like I always live by you treat the janitor the same way you treat the CEO, and then I also Yo Gotti, that's my guy, but he always says you got to be you got to know how to be a good soldier before you can be a good general. You know what I mean? Like you got to play the soldier role so you understand all aspects of the game, like, and that way you can relate and respond to different levels of people within the business or in your organization, because without it, it'll be hard to relate to people or at least keep people on the team, right, that don't buy
yeah.
in to the vision. Okay, cool. So let me go to the third one. So what's been your biggest lesson you've learned in business?
Ooh, the biggest lesson I've learned in business. Ooh, that's a great question. I've learned so many lessons. I would say the biggest lesson I've learned is if you don't manage your money well, you won't see it. No matter how much money you make, if you can make 80 bands in a month easy. And if you don't manage it well, you won't see it. Like you'll look back and be like, you'll get your taxes done and be like, I made how much last year? Where is it at? What do you mean?
I done heard that one happen
What are you
before.
talking about? So positioning your business well and having the foundation well and having an accountant and a CPA and having someone do your taxes and having someone checking with you monthly to see what your expenditures are and having payroll. Like I'm not a CEO. Yes, I own my company. I am an employee for my business. I don't even call myself a CEO. I've never really called myself a CEO or a boss.
Yeah.
I had the persona of a boss, but I've never called myself that, even though now technically I am because I have payroll. However, you had to play your cards right. So the biggest lesson I've learned is making sure your business is foundationally correct and making sure you're minding your money. Pay yourself a strict salary. Don't just spend the money that you see coming into your account.
That's a fact. Man, look at these gems. I'm glad. Listen, we had to go through these questions. You know what I mean? We're going to get to the backdrop, but we came in hot in the first 15, 20 minutes. And that's what I'm talking about. We came in super, super hot. All right, cool. So I appreciate you answering those questions for me. Obviously, we got more to go, but we want to rewind it back and we want to start from the beginning, right? So tell me, what did you want to be growing up? Because at the end of the day, my podcast is for kids, the youth, because they might see you, they might see me, they might see somebody on this screen and be like, man, I really want to do what they do. Like, or we got similar backgrounds, and they can go to the page, they can find you, they can look you up. And, and I think you got to find heroes that you can kind of touch. You know what I mean? Like, I'm maybe 5, 6 years from now, we might not be able to touch you, but right now, because you're gonna be up there with Oprah. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to have security.
On my vision board. That's crazy.
Listen, you're gonna have to have security, all that good stuff. So, but I just think it's really important for the youth to be able to see people that start, where they from, and obviously, we may not have myself. I may not have an extravagant story or anything like that, but they can see, man, this dude is just trying to work his butt off to try to make something happen or provide something back for the community. So, what did you want to be growing up? Like, in your mind, like, what was your first idea of, like, this is what I want to do when I get older?
I wanted to be a marriage and family therapist or a social worker.
What changed?
So when I was a sophomore, I will never forget this stuff. So the questions you're asking me is like real ass questions. I'm sorry, excuse me.
This is all good.
So I remember in ninth grade, I went to this high school called Realestate. I hated that high school. And I realized that I wanted to be a marriage and family therapist. And I told my auntie that I wanted to do that. She was like, oh, you're never going to be successful with that. You're not going to make any money. You're going to have to be in school forever. You're not going to make any money doing that. So you might as well just switch it up. And I'm Nigerian. So if you're not, like I said in one of the interviews I was doing, if you're not a doctor, pediatrician, a lawyer, you're not really doing nothing, right?
Yeah.
And so I immediately changed it. I was like, at that time, as a freshman in high school, I was still very like, okay, well, I guess da 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 da, because she's successful. So, and everybody in the family goes to her for like help or whatever. She's a millionaire, so she knows what she wants to see, right?
Right.
So there was that, and then social work. Dang, I never told nobody this. My freshman year of college, I went to school, Houston Tilson University at HBCU here, well, in Austin, and I remember my freshman year, one of my aunties had passed away the day I was going to college. And she came in my dream. Never told nobody this. She came in my dream. She was wearing all white. She looked so pretty and healthy and all of that stuff. And she was like, don't do sociology. Literally, that's all she said. She said, don't do sociology. Oh. And I woke up and I wasn't scared. I was just like, okay.
I'm not doing sociology. Right.
Yeah, so those are the reasons why I didn't do those, and I'm so grateful that I didn't.
That's amazing. Like, you think it's like I talk to me. You just when I ask people like, what did you want to be? I'd be like, and it didn't happen. And I always like, so why did it not happen? Like the stories behind like why it doesn't happen, and then seeing what they do now, I'm like, that probably wouldn't fit you anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a purpose behind everything, every decision. Like, even when you make the bad decisions, it's like, it's a detour. Like, you learn something in every pit stop. So that's crazy that that you said that. And, shout out to Auntie for, coming back and talking to you. And just you being.
And it's crazy. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's on my heart heavy. Even though I didn't do the things that I said I wanted to do as far as marriage and family therapy and sociology, it still fits in like that same healing that I wanted to bring to people because of my experiences is still happening still to this day. Yeah. It's just happening in a completely different way. Like I speak to mothers. There's so many older women that will be like, I'm so inspired by you. And my son, he's in the streets and this and that. And my brother was like that. And is still recovering from drug addiction and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm able to work with kids and at-risk youth because I work with a nonprofit, and I had a nonprofit when I was in college. So it's just crazy because it still comes back full circle.
That's crazy. I love it. I mean, it comes back, always gonna come back full circle. I think I was talking to somebody and it was just like, if you always, like, you could try to run away or deter from like your purpose, you know what I'm saying? Like just walking, like you'll always come back. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how it always happens. You may feel like you're going this way, but something always brings you back into alignment. So that's what's up. And so talk to me. So you went to an HBCU in Austin. I've been in, I lived in, well, I ain't gonna say I lived in Austin. I lived in Georgetown.
Okay.
For about 2 years, but I didn't even know. I mean, I knew they had some colleges in the area, but I didn't know about your school. So, what was the decision process on going to that school? Like, what made you choose to go to that specific HBCU?
This is something else I never tell nobody.
We getting all the scoop. I love it.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, I don't know how to tell my story because I'm so focused on getting my life right. So, I went to college, period, because it was my escape route.
Okay.
So I knew when I was in 10th grade of high school, my best friend at the time, her mom, and even though me and her are no longer friends, I'll never, ever, ever, ever say anything bad about her and I don't really talk bad about people, period. But I would say she exposed me to HBCUs. Her mother went to an HBCU, so Brittany went to different stuff, and she would always bring me with her.
Yeah.
So I went to so many college tours and expos, Black college expos. So I knew I wanted to go to HBCU.
Right.
And I never visited my school. My father was like, I don't know why you want to go to school out of state. Who's going to pay for it? You're not going. I'm not supporting that, blah, blah, blah. My mom was like, go. My sister was like, go. Because they told my brother he couldn't go to school or out of state. And he ended up in jail.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they were like, if that's what you want to do, go. So they were like, just find a school. And so I started getting all of these different I just started applying to schools in Texas because I wanted to be far away from home, but not too far away.
Yep.
And not too far away from family, but I also didn't want to be in the same city with any family.
Gotcha.
Because being Nigerian,
Man, just being black in general, like
pretty much.
Yeah.
So I chose HT because they I don't know. I think it was just alignment, honestly. I chose HT because they gave me an approval to come. They told me I could be there with my grades from high school. I am not the same person I was in high school. I did not care about school at all. I barely went to class. My teachers loved me, so they passed me. I didn't even, what? I was just a really nice, pretty big girl that knows how to dress and was very popular. That's my high school reputation. And I knew I was doing hair in high school. That's me in high school. So I didn't have the grades to code to just go to a school. So I ended up going to HT because they approved me with my 2 point something. And then my life has never been the same. Like, oh my gosh. HT changed my life.
How? Like, how you go from, I ain't really care about school, and then you go to college, and then obviously you flourish. Like, I see you join the sorority. They just don't let anybody join sororities as far as, like, with grade point averages and things like that. So it's just like, what was the switch? Like, what changed from high school you to college you? Because there's somebody out there that has the exact same story. Male, female, does not matter. There's somebody in there that is BSing in high school, great people, cool, you know what I'm saying, got the most, you don't like this word, potential.
Yeah.
But that, like, what changed? What was that change, or what switched in you?
So remember when I told you that me leaving home was an escape route?
Yeah.
So my father told me that you're gonna come home in 6 months. I give you 6 months. This place looks like a jail. You're not gonna make it here. Like, what? And my friends at the time back home, they weren't going to school. I was always the only one that was super ambitious out of the group that I was in.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what ambition was until probably 2 years ago. I didn't even know I was ambitious until 2 years ago. Swear to gosh. So to answer your question, what changed was I was going to, at first I was trying to prove my father wrong. And I did that the first 2 years.
Right.
Then I had to prove myself right. I had to prove myself right because I didn't come this far to only get this far.
Yeah.
I did not leave California for someone to tell me that I'm going to be back home. You're going to be here. Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. So everything that I did, and I'm so grateful for the friends that I did have my freshman year of college, because when I first got there, they were like, Osay, you're negative. No one's ever told me that. Like, I never saw, because I was always I've always been bubbly, happy.
You always been cool.
Yeah. So for a group of females that just met me to tell me like, Osay, you say every day that you want to go back home. We all don't want to be here, but let's make the best of it. I'll never forget this conversation. They pulled me into the room. It was four girls. They were like, Osay, you're being negative. We can't handle it. Like, your opinion matters to us. So we want to make sure that like, you're being negative and we don't want to hear it anymore. And I was like, that's real.
Not they had an intervention.
Yes. But from that point on, oh God, I'm so grateful for you. From that point on, God just kept aligning me with people to like massage out, like to get rid of who I used to be, to unlearn what I used to know. Yeah. I had a freshman seminar teacher, Miss Darby. She made us write a book about what do you have to do to who do you have to let go to get to where you're trying to go. We could cuss in that book. We can use songs that relate to us in that book. I met so many different things. Like I started my first nonprofit, Boss Up. I had over 36 members in that. I started my hair business. I lost 107 pounds. So many things happened after those girls told me like, you're negative. I was like, you know what? I didn't come this far to only get this far. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I make the best of this and not prove anybody right but me. And I proved myself right.
Dog, that's live. And I'm going to tell you why it's live. Because for you to be able to take that intervention the right way, Because a lot of people would not, it just wouldn't rub well with them. You know what I mean? And they'll be like, "Man, what y'all talking about?" Like, boom, whatever. I'm going to find a new group of people to associate with since y'all don't like me for who I am. But for you to just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess, evaluate yourself. Because, I mean, obviously at the time, it probably was very uncomfortable, very just like, what? Like, how could y'all think this? But then to take that self-reflection and reevaluate is like the coldest thing ever. And because a lot of people just don't have that maturity to be able to do that. I do want to ask, how does your friend group look now? As far as like back home, from college, like do we still have friends from both arenas? Both, I'm pretty sure you might have a couple, but what's changed about your friend group now? Like now?
Whew. So, oh my God, that question just gave me chills. I definitely have a few of the same friends from high school. Like I have like 3 friends from high school that I will always keep around because they play a major part on who I am today. But it's crazy because I'm simply the type of person that doesn't forget where I come from. However, because of who I've become, the people that remember where I came from are not okay with it. She used to sleep on my couch. She used to be up under me. Like, how is she more successful than me? And the thing is, I don't project. I don't make nobody feel smaller than me because God will take all of this. Yeah. This couch, this big girl couch I got, God will stack this right up. Okay. So it's like the things. I want to answer your question, but I just want to give this to anybody that needs it. When you begin to operate in a place where people don't expect you to actually get to, you're going to lose friends. Friends are going to lose you. I'll rephrase that. Friends are going to lose you because they're going to leave. Mm-hmm. I didn't push nobody away. People dropped like flies, bro. Like, oh my God, it's crazy. But anyway, to answer your question, my friend group now is absolutely phenomenal. And the reason I say that is because the friends that I have now sharpen me. Like, they hold me accountable. My friends are extremely successful, and it has less to do with money and more to do with mindset. Mm-hmm. I can discuss my goals with the people around me. I've never had that experience before where I can tell someone something and they don't say, "Oh, must be nice. Yeah. Girl, you're going to do that. So basically, you don't want to work. So basically, you don't want a job." I remember talking to somebody and she was like, I told her, like, I just want to have 4-hour work weeks. Like, I don't want to work every single day. Like, that's draining. Right. Basically, mindset shot. Like, so it's crazy. Like, and I always tell people about their environment and all of that. So my friend group now, they pour into me. They go after their goals. They have big goals. Like, big goals. I have a friend, Dr. Carrie. We talk about each other all the time, but she, like, when I tell you our life path is so similar, she wants $1 million houses and like big goals, like big goals. Yeah. And my environment now is so important to me because I would not be where I am today if I didn't have the type of people I have in my life now. Right. And I'm grateful for the people that are no longer in my life because they show me what a real friend doesn't look like. Right. I have that example now. Like, I know what a real friend is. A friend that will grab my hands and pray with me, that doesn't make me feel down. Even if I am down, they're like, all right, Osay, you already know we got to get to work. You already know what's up. Yeah. Come on. Like, I didn't have that. So my friend group now is so raw. Like, so raw. I love them.
That's extremely important. As far as like having that strong friend, because it used to be like I've always been like this has nothing to do about me, but I just want people to understand, like, when you have these thoughts, like, you're not the only one that has these thoughts. Like, when you think about being super, I've always been like kind of similar, the ambitious one, or always willing just to try anything. Like, I'm not scared to fail, and I'm also not scared of how other people will look at me. I think what bothers me the most is when I do try to do stuff, I worry about, okay, I know people probably gonna look at me this type of way, but I don't want the people that I associate with for other people to look at them as like, if they think I'm crazy, like I don't want them to be like, oh, his lady crazy, or like all his homies got to be crazy. Like I don't want, like that's what I want to do. What I do is all me. You know what I mean? Like nobody has to get me to work hard or to try different things. I don't need people for that. But I think where my insecurity does come from is like when I do try stuff, I know that I'm not the only one that I have to think about sometimes. It's like I have other people behind me that, I don't want them to be looked at in the wrong light. But at the same time, I have to be like, if they with me for me, they will accept and understand that what I do is not out of try to it's I'm trying to figure out the right words to say it, but it's not for clout. You know what I'm saying? Like I do this because I just feel like this is like my journey, my purpose. Like I'm always trying to better myself. And when you talked about having friends where you can speak your dreams, like it used to be times where sometimes you say stuff, and sometimes I just want to say like my dreams or what I believe without somebody saying, well, how you gonna do it, or like you know what I mean? Like if I got a dream, I think I got it for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it because I don't think it's possible. Like at this moment in time, I don't need you to kind of map it out for me, because at the end of the day, a lot of people, if you look at true success, nobody can really, you look back and be like, could you imagine everything that you was gonna have to go through? Heck no. You know what I mean? Like there's no way people that have the success would know that they would have had to go through everything they would have had to go through to just be in that particular space. And so at the end of the day, it's just like, if I'm saying this, like, it's not for no reason. I just want people to be like, you got it. Sometimes you just need to be like, you got it. You can do it. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. Like, yes. And it's crazy because a lot of people think that they can't have friends like that. They think everybody's hating on them, or they think, I can't tell her that because she gonna tell everybody. Or like, the best way to surround yourself with amazing people or to have that type of friend group is to become that type of friend. Like you have to be very intentional about your love for people, no matter how people do you. I could be so ruthless the way that females have done me. Oh my goodness. I could be so mean and just,
Yeah.
oh, I could be so upset. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like I want to say this nicely. When people come to you and they're not coming to you with a pure heart, that's when your empathetic side has to come out. God forgive me, but a lot of people be miserable and they project that miserable energy on you to make you feel as though you're not the person that you think you are. I have friends that have tried to dog me out to people so that they wouldn't like me. And when the people that they spoke about me to actually encounter my energy, they're like, oh, say, I didn't know you were this dope. Like, I didn't know you were this nice. You're really actually very kind. Like, I've had people tell me, like, you're still nice to me after what I said about you. You're not finna stop my blessings. Who is you? Who are you? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I'm gonna be kind to you because I know that whatever I put out, I'm gonna get back. Which is why if you give good energy and you're a great person, you're gonna attract great people. My friends have money. My friends are healed. My friends go to therapy. My friends love God. Like twin setters. Oh my God.
Hey, they super dope. Like I'm telling you, when I sat down with them, I was like, man, and even sitting down with you is like, I understand, and it's crazy because how you guys speak. Like when you guys speak, it seems like it's nothing but pure positivity. And I get it. You guys probably have your down days. It's days where obviously you feeling like, I don't even know how I'm gonna make it through the day. But at the same time, you guys have this, I don't know, it's just like I said, the relationship that you guys have with God, it shows. You know what I mean? It shows in how you talk. It shows in how you guys present yourselves, and then it also just shows in just the charisma and what you guys speak. Like everything that you spoke about is just it's always been like understanding whose you are, and then understanding who you working for. You know what I'm saying? In this life, this one life that you have is like, I'm not here just for me. obviously I have to go through some things to, be able to build my calluses up, but then I also have to reach back and share those same exact stories and, to maybe make other people's calluses not as strong as mine, because
Yeah.
that's what we kind of here to, reach back to. So the friend thing I had to ask, because it's been one of those things where it's like a lot of people struggle with deciphering, like, what's a really good friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously you got friends that if you can go out, drink, party, do all that good stuff, right? But then it's like, what about, what are we doing as far as like the infrastructure, like as far as what we setting up what our life to be? You know what I'm saying? It's okay to blow money in the club and do all that good stuff, but I also want to have infrastructure as well. You know what I mean? Like a
But
safe
the
haven.
crazy safe haven, yes.
Like,
The crazy part is when you really get to that space, you can do that with the friends that you also build it with.
right.
Like I just had a homegirl that came out here we went to a concert together in Houston. We talked, we so much. We're planning together, we're building together, we drink together, we go out together. Those are the type of people you want to surround yourself with, because you can fully be yourself. A lot of people tell you, oh, get friends where you got a friend that you can talk to. You got a friend that you can't tell this to. You got a friend. I don't believe in that. That's my own personal preference. I believe that every one of my friends, yes, they have their own lane in my life, but I can truly be my authentic self, and I trust all of my friends now. I trust all of my friends now. Some of my friends were excited when I told them I was sad. They were excited when I told them I was having an issue with a person, with a guy. They were excited to hear bad news because all they ever heard was good news. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. That's not safe.
No.
I don't feel safe with you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can do that. Like, you can drink, turn up, all of that. Like, one of my best friends, Travaris, that's my homie. Like, we can do everything together and still build wealth together. He just closed a deal. He's a realtor. He just closed a deal that I brought him, and I took over for AirBNB to take over the property to manage it. He closed a deal. I take over. We drink together. We kick it. All of that. So
that's dope.
It's just, yeah.
That's dope. And listen, I know it's been an hour. I know you probably short on time. But I do, want to get into a little bit about what you do, right? So I know we talked a lot about just your life in general, just the building up process, and it's been great. I learned a lot. It's been super fun just listening, being able to conversate. But obviously you are in the real estate game. You're in the Airbnb, you're in the nonprofit game. If you don't mind, I know I went through your, obviously when people see this and they look at your Instagram, you have a link tree in there with multiple different links and everything, right? So we know there's e-guides, there's books, things that they can, if they want to find value in the real estate or want to learn, right? We talked about that knowledge piece, paying for knowledge. If they want to do that, they can go to that link tree. But I also want to ask if you could do us a quick favor and give us, if you could, give us 2 steps on how you start people in the Airbnb game. Like, what are 2 free gems that you could just give? Like, if they were to get that course and really, dive into the e-guide, get that one-on-one session, what's, how do you start your guests? Like, is there 2 gems that you could just give us for the low ski? And then after that, you got to go get that e-guide. You got to get that one-on-one. Got to get all that.
I am not one of those people. I will give you some game. Like, what?
Listen, I listen. I just know how it is. Like, when you put your heart, especially when you obviously invested the time to learn it, and then you also been in it. You created the e-guide, the book. You put a lot of soul into that, right? So I just wanted to let you know where I was coming from, right? So,
I appreciate that. I really do. So getting into Airbnb now is a lot different from when I got into it. I got into it at the beginning of last year.
Got it.
And I'll just give you guys this disclaimer. It's not the same. It is becoming more saturated. However, there's a lot of ways that you can kind of move around that. The second thing I would also say is Airbnb is a low-hanging fruit. Everybody needs furnished accommodations. I don't have an Airbnb business. I have a luxury furnished accommodation company.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So everybody needs furnished accommodation. The president needs furnished accommodation when he travels.
Mm-hmm.
His team needs furnished accommodation when they travel.
Yeah.
The CIA, the FBI, everybody needs furnished accommodation. Okay? So therefore, if you position yourself, people that go through disasters need furnished accommodations. But anyway, if you position your business in such a way where you're not just an Airbnb business, you'll make a lot of money. But for those of you that are trying to just start in the Airbnb game, starting with apartment arbitrage, which is what a lot of people are doing, is great. That's how I started. I've met with apartments, property managers, built relationships, and they approved me for my corporate lease, which people kind of misconstrue with what a corporate lease actually is. A corporate lease is basically your employees being the subletter of the property or the unit. Okay. Corporate leasing is not Airbnb. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Like it's just not Airbnb, but we use that to kind of get in the door. Now, because all of the apartments are catching up to it, it's not as easy. A lot of people are gonna tell you no. However, if you play your cards right and you start in the back pages of the like apartment.com or all of those different websites to find units, if you start in the back pages, you'll see 4 like quadruplexes, which is a 4-unit apartment where you can reach out to the property manager or owner directly and build that relationship and do it that way. Okay. Another thing I would tell you is just because an apartment tells you yes does not mean it's going to make you money. You have to do the research, and you can get on airdna.com or .co, airdna.co, tap on Rent Analyzer, and put in the address to where you're going and find out what the occupancy rate is, find out what the average daily rate is so that you know how much you're going to be making every month. That's something that's in my e-guide. I would break it down right now, but we'll be here all day. There's a formula that you can use to really get the monthly average of what you're going to be making. A lot of people teach you that you want to at least be making 500 or 10 or like 500, 1,500 after paying expenses. I teach people how to make at least $3,000 after their expenses, because personally, that's what I do. Right. I don't sign up for things that are not making me money, because that rent is going to bite you in the butt, especially now because rent is so high. You want to make sure that you're doing the proper research to have money. Like you're going to be paying another rent. Like I'm paying like 5 different rents in a mortgage right now. It's crazy. So you have to make sure that it's making you money. Because
that's crazy when you say that. Because I know what my rent looks like.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Yeah. And if the numbers don't make sense, don't just do something because, oh my God, I just really want to have an Airbnb. I just want to make sure the numbers make sense, because there's going to be slow seasons. It's business. Right. Slow seasons come in Airbnb all the time. And you have to have those strategies that stick out differently to make sure you're always booked. Right? So there's that. Another thing that I would tell people is, a lot of times, a lot of people tell you, oh, you don't need a lot of money to get into Airbnb, which you don't. Like you can get a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom for like $5,000, $6,000, like to furnish it and everything. But that's going to come back to you. Like you're going to regret going cheap. That's happened to me. Okay. So the first unit I did, I spent $7,138 on. Regret it. It was a 1-bedroom.
Regret it.
1-bedroom that I was able to turn into a 2-bedroom because I had to move locations because the numbers didn't make sense. And like I said, I had to go through experience. I didn't know how to know how much I was going to make. I just went with it.
You just went with it.
Yeah. So long story short, I went to another place and I realized, okay, yeah, I can do it the cheap way, but then your guests are going to start leaving in your reviews, oh, this mattress feels like a cot. Ooh. Or these bar stools are wobbly and they feel cheap, or the couch feels cheap. Like they're gonna say it. Yeah. They may not put it, if their experience was good and those were the things, they'll tell you directly based on your customer service, like, hey, I really think you should update this, and I really think you should do this. And that's where you're still gonna have to put that money in.
Got it.
But my best advice is, if you're gonna start cheap, that's totally fine. However, keep in the back of your mind that the money that you're going to be making for the first 6 months, you reinvest so that you can charge more a night.
Gotcha.
What you put in is what you'll get out. Right? If you put in the monies, you will get the monies. The property that I have in Dallas that I own, I've charged like $700 and something a night because of the quality that I have there. Right. So you just have to be smart.
Be smart. Appreciate that. See, listen, man, you gave us so much. It's time. So for the listeners, viewers, if you obviously interested, want to get into the game, if it's something that you feel like it aligns with what you got going on, if it makes sense, we got a real plug right here. You know what I mean? So if you need anything, the links are in the bio link tree. We're going to put all that in the description as far as YouTube, along the video. And my last question is just, I want to ask is, and we can end it with this. How does someone, where did your confidence come from? Like, how did you develop the confidence to be, to feel comfortable in spaces, to be, unapologetically you, just where does that come from? Because I know, like, right now, with social media and everything, where you can see what, things you could change, however, whatever the case, whatever you want to change, you can change it now. But I feel like it's important that you keep the true essence of yourself. And just, where did the confidence come from?
My confidence came from the most important people in my life telling me that I couldn't be something. It came from all of the things that I've seen, and it came from the opposite, the exact opposite of who I am today. It came from experiencing what I didn't want to be. So I would tell myself affirmations. I would tell myself, I am going to be this, I am going to be that, based off of someone telling me I couldn't. I'm stubborn. My confidence came from my stubbornness. I'm stubborn. You can't tell me what I can and can't do. So if you're telling me I can't do something, I'm going to tell you that I can. And that's where my confidence came from, which is so crazy because people would consider that a negative concept.
Yeah.
But my stubbornness has helped me so much in life. Like, I don't settle for mediocrity when I know that greatness is available.
A bar.
It's available. Like, why would I settle for stumbling over here on the rocks when there's stars right above me shining by themselves? Why would I settle to not be who I want to become when there's a creator that created the entire world in 6 days? Why would I not rest on my Sabbath because you want me to make some money? Why would I set myself up for that? Yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident because I serve a God that's bigger than anything blinking or walking or talking on this earth. God is bigger than Instagram. I ain't never seen Warren Buffett on Instagram. I ain't never seen none of these big billionaires on social media. I'm bigger than that. Right. I'm not knocking nobody on social media. I still use social media, but we have to think bigger and be confident in the fact that there's more. There's so much more. And I truly believe that at a young age. Yeah. I believe that at a very young age. So that's where my confidence comes from.
Bro. Listen, I ain't got nothing else to say. She done left it all out there. You know what I'm saying? We get it. You know what I mean? I truly had a blast. I hope you had a blast. Was it fun?
I did. So
that's good. That's good. Hopefully this kind of helps. I know you say you don't really tell your story that much, but you should really tell your story a lot more often. It's a lot of young women, men that really, really could, learn from your story and really draw, from that confidence that you talk about. Like, that's a different way of looking at things, right? Sometimes people think confidence should come from people, highlighting you or praising you, but you can also draw positive energy from negativity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can channel that negative energy eternally and change it into positive, right? Which, I've had to do, a couple of times. Sometimes it's self-negative energy for me, thinking negative about myself, but then also knowing that I gotta stay outside this bubble, the comfort zone, and shoot myself into positive energy. So thank you for that. I will say, do you have we always ask about recommendations. So I need at least 1 to 2 recommendations. If you got more, we take more. But I always just ask for 1 to 2 recommendations of people that you feel fits the mold of this podcast, and that could be a great, just the what we're trying to do with the podcast. Fit this lane, fit this mold. Somebody that you think is super dope, that you love. Maybe they don't even know it, but they just it's somebody that's on your mind. Like, I really love what they're doing. Do you have those?
Yes, but 2 things before I do that.
Mm-hmm.
1 thing, give me a number between 1 and 100.
1 and 100? Shoot, I don't know. I'm gonna go for 100.
All right, so there's gonna be 5 people for you that can get my course for free if it's 100.
Whoa.
I thought you were gonna say 50%, 50% off, but 100%, that's cool. 5 people from you can have my course. My course is $2,500. So
you lying right now.
5 people can have my course. Mm-hmm.
Yo, that's major. Man, yeah. I don't even know what to say. I mean, yeah, that's crazy, man. I really don't know what to say. All I can say is thank you. If you want to let me know maybe offline how they can do that, because I don't want it to be just anybody. I'm gonna probably do something. Yes. I'm gonna do something where they have to go through some type of gauntlet, to really get it, because I don't want this to go to waste.
Like, they have to be executors, because it's a lot of information in that course. It took me 4 months to put that course together. The code is gonna be Boss Talk.
Wow.
And they'll get 100% off. And it's going to be 5 of those.
That's crazy. Shout out to God, man. That's all I can say, man.
Okay. So the people that I would suggest, I would suggest Travaris.
Okay.
Walker. I would suggest Jonathan Key. That's one of my best friends as well.
Okay.
Works in Hollywood. His story is so dope. I would suggest Dr. Carrie Carter Walker. I feel like that's a given.
Yeah.
I always suggest her. I'll give you 2 more. Let me think. 2 more people. Let's see. I would give you... I think those are the main ones that I would give you right now. That would really, really help your podcast a lot. Like, that would really, their stories are really, really dope. So yeah, Carrie, John, and Trey. Yeah.
That's dope. If you could send me their contact information, whether they like to be reached out through Instagram, email, phone, whatever the case may be, I'll do the legwork. All you gotta do is let them know, like, hey, I just did this podcast with Armand from Big Boss Talk. He's probably gonna reach out to you. That's all you gotta say. I can handle everything from there. I don't know, man. I'm pretty pumped. Like, nobody's really ever done that. So I mean, I do want to say thank you. It's been fun. I can't wait to release this episode. Please be on the lookout. And I hope nothing but positivity. And like I said, Oprah. You know what I'm saying? I don't really just say stuff, but I really put that out there. You got a lot of Oprah energy, so I need you to just keep having success. Keep moving forward, and really keep touching those kids with that nonprofit. And that might be something I just want to talk to you about, because I want to, my goal was to do the podcast episodes for a full year, and then this year I worked with an artist. We're getting a banner and everything to be able to do pop-ups or setups. And I want to get into schools, or, just do stuff around the community to be able to, post up and be like, hey, if you're looking for people in this career path, because if you go on Instagram, I have so many different people that do so many different things that would love to be a resource and a light for other kids. And so that might be something that I can, maybe just get some time on your schedule and just really figure out how you do what you do, and just really learn from there.
Yeah, of course. just let me know. There's multiple ways to get in contact with me. So just let me know whenever you're ready to talk. I have a lot of people that can help you with that as well. So yeah, just let me know.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you go. You have a good night.
Thank you.
Another thing is, I don't even know how you found friends in Austin. Man, I've been to Austin for 2 years. I couldn't find no black people nowhere. I'm gonna be honest. Right?
Be out here or whatever. It was like a small group. It's a small, big group. It just depends on who you know. If you know somebody black, they gonna know somebody black.
Right.
So,
that's it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a secret society, but that's what's up. I'm gonna let you go though. You have a good night. I appreciate you. And then like I said, I'm gonna do a gauntlet for these 5 people. Like, it's not gonna be something that's easy. And then once I figure out the 5, I'll let you know the 5. That way you could be on the lookout for those specific names, emails, whatever the case may have you, because I don't want this information to not be executed on. So thank you so much.
Of course, no problem at all. No problem.
Have a good one.
Thank you, you too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.